Morning student. Now start the disaster management. Now it is a general topic. In that topic, study about various disasters, those disasters which occurs in nature, in environment, in our surrounding. Then what is meant by disaster? How these disasters appears in our surrounding, types of that disasters, and what are the effect of that disasters. When these disasters occurs in our surrounding, what are the effect of that disasters. Then how to manage of that disasters by various procedures, that is known as management of that disasters. Now firstly, in case of disasters, we know that those various dangerous events occurs in nature, in environment, in our surrounding. Now these dangerous events are known as disaster. Various dangerous events, those are occurs in our surrounding. We know that in our life, in our surrounding, in daily, there are various dangerous events occurs in nature. For example, in case of accident, for example, in case of flood, in case of dry and wet famine, in case of volcanization, in case of earthquakes. These are different disaster, that is known as dangerous event. Those dangerous event occurs in our surrounding. These are various examples of that disaster. These are known as disaster. And when these disasters occurs in our surrounding, in a nature, in environment, there are various changes occurs in that nature. Most important changes occurs in that nature, that is a damages of various life and properties. Various life and properties, damages of various life and properties by various disaster. For example, in case of flood, for example, in case of volcanization, in case of earthworm, in case of various famine, damages of various life in that surrounding, damages of properties by these disasters. These are most effect by these disasters. Then some effect occurs by that disasters, like various areas, that is known as social effects, medicinal effects, the personal effects, then political effect, environmental effect. These are known as various effects occurs by that disasters. We know that some of the disasters are very short times and some of the disasters are very long time. For example, in case of corona, now it is a very long term of that disasters, and some of the disasters are very short terms, that is known as long term disasters and short term disasters. And various effects on environment, that is known as living organism by that disasters. Now there are different types of that disasters. According to the types of that disaster, there are mostly three types of that disasters, that is known as geophysical disasters, biological disasters, and man-made disasters. These are known as different types. Broadly, these disasters are three types. There are various examples of that disaster and some pictures of that disasters in our textbooks. For example, now this is a pictures of disaster, flooding, then This is a picture of rainfall. Now this is a picture of accident, and this is a picture of earthquake. Now these are various pictures. These are various disasters. Those disasters which are occurs in our surrounding. Now types of disasters: geophysical disasters, biological disasters, and man-made disasters. These disasters classify into three main groups. Those disasters which occurs in a environment. Now these disasters are classified into three groups. That is a geophysical disasters, biological disasters, and man-made disasters. Now what are the geophysical disasters? There are various examples of geophysical disaster. For example, in case of earthquake, we know that what is meant by earthquake, how the effect of that earthquake on environment, how the effect of that earthquake in case of various living organism, life, and effect on properties by earthquake. Now this earthquake is one of the geophysical disaster. Volcano is one of the geophysical disasters. Tsunami is a geophysical disaster. Erosion, geophysical disaster. Flooding is a geophysical disaster. So we know that what is meant by flooding, how this flooding is occurs, and how the effect of that flooding on biodiversity, on living organism. Then cyclone, snowfall, hot and cold waves, and snowstorm. These are different examples of geophysical disasters, and by that geophysical disasters affect on various living organism, affect on environment by these geophysical disasters. These are various examples of geophysical disasters. Then second types of disasters, that is known as biological disasters. There are various examples of that biological disasters. Those disasters found in a nature. For example, in case of forest fire, it is one of the examples of biological disasters. Forest fire, how this forest fire occurs in a environment, in nature, and what are the effect of that forest fire in forest. Those living organism, various animals occurs in that place in forest. These living organism, these animals are dead during a forest fire. Now various effect of that forest fire. This is one of the biological disasters. Second biological disaster, that is known as spreading of various diseases. Spreading of diseases, we know that these diseases are spread by various microorganism like various viruses, various bacteria, and various fungi. Viruses, bacteria, fungi, these are known as microorganism, and these microorganism causes various spreading various diseases, spreading of diseases by bacteria, by virus. For example, in case of corona, we know that corona is one of the viral disease, and it is spread by various factors. Spreading of this corona by virus, it is one of the viral diseases, bacterial diseases, fungal diseases, and these bacterial, fungal, viral diseases are also known as biological disasters. Corona is a biological disasters. It is a long-term disasters, short-term disasters, long-term disasters. Now, spreading of diseases, it is a biological disaster. This is second types of disasters. And third type of disasters, that is known as man-made disasters. There are various man-made disasters are also occurs in the environment, found in environments. For example, in case of atomic test, man-made disasters, atomic test, the various atomic tests carried out in a thermal power station, an atomic power station. And during this atomic power station, accidentally some accidents and releasing of various radiant in atmosphere. Now this radiations live in atmosphere for longer period and it also affect on living organism. That is known as atomic test. Those poisonous gases, various power plant also releases the various poisonous gases in atmosphere. For example, in case of thermal power plants, by that thermal power plants, various poisonous gases released in atmosphere: sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon particles. These are known as poisonous gases, and these poisonous gases released in atmosphere by various factories, various thermal power plant, and to releasing of that poisonous gases in atmosphere, it affects to the various living organism. It affects to the various biodiversity. It affects to the various living organism. That is one of the man-made disasters. Poisonous gases, atomic test, then some accidents. Every day we are observing in our surrounding the various accidents, and this accidents is also one of the man-made disasters. International war. In history, we found the different international war, and by that international war, there are various living things are dead. Lifespan, that is known. Living things are dead. Life and properties, damages life and properties more by that international war. It is one of the man-made disasters. Fire is a man-made disasters. Different fires are occurs in different factories. It is also one of the man-made disasters. Bomb blast. We know that what is meant by bomb blast. It is also one of the man-made disasters. Then migration of various peoples from one place to another place. Migration of various living things. For example, various animals, various birds. Human beings are also migrated from one place to another place. That is also one of the man-made disasters. Terrorism. It is also one of the most important disasters, that is known as terrorism. Most important man-made disasters. Then rape and child labor. In our Maharashtra, the most important man-made disasters, that is known as child labor. Now these are known as different types of disasters. Broadly, these disasters are classified into geophysical disasters, biological disasters, and man-made disasters. These are various examples of man-made disaster, biological disasters, and geophysical disasters. Thank you.